My ex-ML sent her church friends to harass my daughters and me. Now I've exposed her, and she's being shamed and shunned. My ex-husband died last year, leaving behind a massive scandal. Turns out he'd been living a double life with another woman who had his twin boys. She died too, so now there are orphaned kids involved. The whole thing destroyed my daughters. My 17-year-old found the affair photos on his phone. My 15-year-old discovered the second family when she saw him at a park with toddlers who looked exactly like him. They've been in therapy ever since. His mother blamed me from day one, said I drove him to cheat by being too focused on career instead of being a godly wife. Never mind that I was the only one working while he played house with his girlfriend. She's been obsessed with getting custody of my daughters, claiming I'm an unfit parent. She showed up at their school twice trying to pick them up without permission, filed false CPS reports saying I was neglecting them, even hired a private investigator to follow us around looking for dirt. But last weekend, she crossed a line I didn't know existed. My 15-year-old was at the farmer's market for her birthday. I'd given her money to pick out whatever she wanted while I grabbed groceries. Sweet kid bought ingredients to bake cookies for her sister. That's when 6 church ladies surrounded her near the flower stand. I only found out later they'd been watching our family for weeks, taking notes on our ungodly behavior. They started screaming that she was going to hell for refusing to visit grandma and not embracing her baby brothers like Jesus would want. They called her selfish for wanting her dead father's life insurance money instead of giving it to the orphaned boys. One woman grabbed my daughter's arm and said God was punishing our family because we weren't following biblical family structure. Another started praying loudly over her, asking Jesus to soften this child's hardened heart. I found my daughter sobbing behind a produce stand while these women quoted Bible verses about honoring elders. She was hyperventilating, having a panic attack because strangers were screaming about her dead father and calling her evil. The market manager had to escort us all out because they wouldn't stop. They followed us to the parking lot, shouting about how we'd face judgment day soon enough. My daughter didn't speak for the rest of the day, just sat in her room staring at the wall. When I finally got her to talk, she asked if maybe they were right, if maybe she was a bad person for not wanting to see those boys who reminded her that her father lied to her for years. That night, I discovered my ex-MEL had posted in their church Facebook group. She painted herself as the grieving grandmother being abandoned by her wicked daughter-in-law who was keeping the children from God's love. She claimed I was poisoning my daughters against their loving grandparents and their precious baby brothers, said we were living in sin, spending their father's money on worldly pleasures while 2 innocent babies suffered without family. The comments were vicious. Church members calling my daughters spoiled brats, saying I was a Jezebel who destroyed a godly man, planning to pray for our souls at their next prayer circle. But here's what she didn't mention in her sob story. She didn't tell them she knew about the affair for 2 years and helped hide it. Didn't mention she called my daughters mistakes who were standing in the way of her son's real family. She definitely didn't share the texts where she told him the affair babies were God's gift and we were punishment for his past sins. I still had all the divorce paperwork from before my ex died, including screenshots of her texting him tips on how to hide his affair better. Messages where she called my daughters mistakes and said the affair babies were God's real plan. The church she goes to, they have a zero-tolerance policy on adultery. It's literally in their charter. So I made copies. Beautiful, high-quality prints of every text, every photo, every email where she encouraged her son's cheating and told him to get rid of the old family for the new one. I bound them in folders that looked exactly like their church prayer books and left them on the welcome table before Sunday service. By Monday morning, she was deleted from every church group. Her pastor called her personally. 3 families she'd known for decades won't speak to her anymore. She posted yesterday asking why no one cares about Christian values anymore.